So, this video is going to be a little different than any other videos I've done, and that's because recently I got a little bit nostalgic. Back in 2017 till about 2019, I used to actually make my own custom maps for both Half-Life and Half-Life 2. If you watched my personal channel called Glorious Rigby, then at the time you may have seen a project or two pop up. I actually made a video about me making my first map in Hammer, which was pretty well received. And after this video, I kept on making more and more maps, and at some point, I just stopped. I don't know why or exactly when I stopped making maps. I think it may have something to do with how busy I got in life and me needing to make decisions on what hobbies to continue pursuing and which ones to drop. And I guess mapping just so happens to be that one hobby that fell off. But as of recently, I was reminded of my old map-making days and looked at some old videos and screenshots. I even went and looked for an old GoldSrc map that I have a lot of fond memories of that is affectionately called GTM1EXP. And I started to realize something. Between the Source Engine maps that I made, like TTT Forgotten, and the GoldSrc maps that I made, I had a lot more fun making these GoldSrc maps than pretty much any other map that I've made in other engines. But why did I enjoy making GoldSrc maps more than I enjoyed Source Engine maps? LambdaGeneration. Before I answer that question, let's have a look at GTM1EXP, shall we? You start the map off in this decently detailed corridor that I'm still actually kind of proud of, and it leads to this big warehouse area with scaffolding going through it. We'll need to walk on those. The lighting in this area is very vibrant and the green light gently pulsates. Moving through the cabin here, we get to walk on the catwalk that brings us to the other side of the warehouse and over the wall of crates that block you from just going straight across from the floor. The meticulously placed and multicolored pipes blocking you from just jumping off into the other side straight away. Once going down the stairs and leaving the catwalk, we're finally ready to go into the next segment of the map where a surprise awaits us. A zombie! But we don't have any weapons! What in the hell do I even do now? Using the ladder, we climb on the top of the catwalk to grab a crowbar I placed on a shelf. Man, Valve really infected me with their catwalk fetish, didn't they? We go back down and destroy the zombie. With that creature now being dead, we can move outside, but the door is blocked off by more boxes and barrels. So yeah, we need to break a window. Once we enter the rather okay-looking outside area of the map, there's only really one thing to do. Go back inside. Here in this, well, weird lobby area, this scientist is waiting for us, and a head crab as well. We can take him on easily with our crowbar, though. Moving into the corridor will result in, the game crashed. Yeah, this is supposed to transition me to the second map, but since that map doesn't exist, the game just crashes instead. Real shame. As you can see, it's definitely one of the maps that exists. I would say there are some good things about this. I like the details I put in some areas, but the lighting could definitely use a bit of a rework. I made this back when I was like 17, 18 years old, and I didn't really know much about color theory and how lighting is really colored in real life, so that's why it looks as vibrant as it does. And I also had to make a few changes to the map in order for it to work better for this video. The green, pulsating light used to be more like a strobe light, which isn't great for people who are photosensitive. And some other areas didn't have lighting at all, like the last indoor area here. And no, I'm not sure what this area is supposed to be. But as you can see, 17 to 18-year-old me really put some love and care into this map. I remember coming back from school and beelining it to my desk in order to work more on this map. Hell, sometimes I would work on this map at school even when I had nothing else to do. I got lost in detailing every nook and cranny and really going wild with shadows and lighting to make my map look more three-dimensional, if you know what I mean. And sure, I had some of this feeling with Source Engine map making too, but for some reason just not as much. Source is a lot more model-based, and since I'm not really experienced in making 3D models, I had to basically just work with whatever Valve made available in the Source SDKs that I was working with. This for some reason just felt a little bit more limiting to me. GoldSrc barely has any model support beyond weapons and character models. Most maps are just made entirely out of brushwork, and somehow I got into more of a groove with that. I could make everything myself using these brushes, and I wouldn't have to worry about it looking plain or boring like how it would look in Source if you just used brushes. Because in GoldSrc, this just is the visual standard. This is how a map in Half-Life or other GoldSrc based games is supposed to look. Well, at least sort of. I don't have to worry about props not fitting the design of my room. I wouldn't have to worry about the lighting being off and not uniform because models aren't lit the same way as world geometry. I can just go ahead and bring my vision to life without having to deal with any of that. And it looks charming too. It's just fun to experiment with these different limitations and find ways to make your maps look visually pleasing without anything Source adds. And the barrier of entry is also, in my opinion, a whole lot lower. Now, don't get me wrong, Source isn't a bad engine and I don't hate it. I don't even hate working with it at all. It's just that it takes longer and more effort to make a map that looks on par with others' creations. So, if you make me choose between Source or GoldSrc to map for, I would probably pick GoldSrc. But hey, that's just what I think, and my opinions aren't always the most common ones, so I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever created a map in the past for Source or GoldSrc, and what engine do you like to work on the most, and why? Let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely be reading them. I'd also like to know if you want to see more of these kinds of videos. I know it's not what I usually do on here, and this is more something I'd make on my old Glorious Rigby channel, but I thought I'd try out something a little different for a change. I hope you all like it. Now, I probably won't pick up map making again for at least a while. I'm just too busy with everything going on in my life, so this map will remain unfinished. But if you'd like to continue it, you can. I put a download link in the description below where you can download the original project file for GTM1EXP and experiment for yourself. If you did something with it, be sure to show me. I'd love to see what you guys will make out of it.